Hi there, everybody. Welcome back, high level listeners. Today, we're diving into a very useful and a very common topic, healthy eating. So, if you want to learn some new high level vocabulary to talk about healthy eating in your daily life and commonly spoken English, and talk more in depth about meal prepping, dieting, lifestyle changes, and swapping unhealthy foods for healthy foods, you've come to the right place.
Yes, you definitely have. Welcome, and thank you for joining us again here at High Level Listening. This is our YouTube channel where we give you side-by-side American and British English with me, Mark, from the UK, and Kat from the US. So we're excited to bring you another podcast episode today, especially if you're thinking about or looking to improve your eating habits. So we'll be chatting about how to incorporate healthy eating into your daily routine and give you lots of authentic, naturally spoken vocabulary along the way.
So, today's podcast episode is just like our other advanced English podcast episodes. We'll start with two scripts, one in a more American style with me, and one with Mark in a more British style. We'll each talk about our experiences and tips for healthy eating from our perspectives, giving you tons of great vocabulary that you can use next time you want to talk about eating well in English.
Yes, then, like always, after our scripts, we'll go back to the start and go through the script line by line again to give you some deeper explanations and choose some of our favorite vocabulary and expressions from each line so you can enjoy using the vocabulary easily and confidently as well. So, we'll get started. I will ask Kat the question for today. How are things going with your healthy eating habits?
So, in the US, there's a big trend towards healthier eating in general. Even though some people are still yo yo dieting, going low carb, low fat, or low calorie, I think more and more people are realizing that a lifestyle change is more important than just the number on the scale. Personally, I've been trying to stock the fridge with whole foods like fresh produce, fresh meats, and just less processed junk. It's so important to eat a variety of foods, especially colorful fruits and vegetables with lots of nutritional value. I've also started meal prepping on Sundays to ensure that we have nutritious meals and snacks ready if we're short on time during the week. Sometimes it's as simple as swapping out sugary snacks with fruit or using almond milk instead of cow's milk. Don't worry, we're not trying to overhaul our entire life in a weekend. My husband is also cutting down on sugar by swapping soda for water or opting for sugar-free alternatives. Overall, it's going well, but sometimes I still crave a nice, greasy slice of pizza. Okay, so that was my script in the more American style. Now I'm going to ask Mark the same question for his UK version. How are things going with your healthy eating habits?
In the UK, healthy eating has become quite a big thing. There are still lots of fads out there that come and go, but I think people are realizing that there are no quick fixes or shortcuts, and actually just a few small tweaks here and there can add up in the long run and make a bigger difference. For me, for example, I've been trying to add more whole foods into my diet, including fresh produce, organic meats, and cutting out all of the processed artificial stuff. I try to get in a nice mix of fruit and veg, especially in smoothies, since they're packed with all sorts of nutrients and vitamins. I've also started using Sundays to prepare some meals ahead of time, which stops me going off track or ordering in food on busy days. I've also switched over to oat milk instead of cow milk in my tea, and I've cut out fizzy drinks altogether. I know it sounds like a lot, but it's just been small changes over a long time. I still like to treat myself every now and again to some nice big fish and chips or something like that, only now I don't feel as guilty. Okay, so you've heard both of our scripts. Now let's go back to the start and go through the best vocabulary from each line. So, starting with you, Kat. Do people in the US tend to eat healthily?
So, I think in the US, there's a big trend towards healthier eating in general. So, I've started my line with something a little bit more deeper in conversation. I'm talking about a trend. And a trend means that a lot of people are doing the same thing at the same time. Okay. So in the US, there's a big trend towards something. So if people are eating healthier or if people are exercising more. So there's a big trend towards, and we can say healthier eating or eating healthier. In this case, we can actually switch the words around. It doesn't really matter. So in the US, there's a big trend towards healthier eating in general. So in general means most people, some people, almost everyone wants to eat a little bit healthier. Okay, so that big trend towards healthier eating in general. What about you, Mark? Do people in the UK tend to eat healthy?
The first line of my script is, in the UK, healthy eating has become quite a big thing. So in Kat's version, she said a big trend. Another word for trend is a thing. It's a big thing. It's a thing. A thing can be used instead of a trend. It can be used instead of a custom or something traditional that you do. Christmas is a big thing in the UK. Bonfire night on November the 5th is a thing in the UK, but it's not a thing in the US. So a thing can be a trend or a tradition. In this case, I mean a trend. And yeah, as Kat mentioned, before we go on much further, we should highlight the phrase healthy eating. It is a phrase that doesn't sound grammatically right. A lot of my students have asked, shouldn't it be eating healthily?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a perfectly valid question, but that's not the phrase. The phrase that everyone says on all the books and all the websites and the blogs is healthy eating. So I'm interested in healthy eating. I care about healthy eating. That's just the phrase, and it's probably breaking some grammar rules, but that's how it is. It's caught on. It's a big thing. So you've got to go with it now. Okay, so in the US, what kind of healthy eating trends are popular right now?
So, just like Mark said, what kind of healthy eating trends? Okay, so healthy eating is the topic, right? Healthy eating. So, if I want to say I'm eating more healthily, that does make sense. That's how you're eating, but healthy eating is important to me. That's the noun, that's the topic of discussion. So, even though some people are still yo yo dieting, going low carb, low fat, or low calorie, I think more and more people are realizing that a lifestyle change is more important than just the number on the scale. Whew, this is a mouthful. Okay, so even though some people are still yo yo dieting, this is such a common phrase, and I think a lot of us are realizing that this is not fun. Yo yo dieting, just like the little toy on a string, it goes down and it comes back up. And it goes down and it comes back up. So a yo-yo is a little kid's toy and it goes up and down on the string just like your diet. You lose some weight, you gain some weight. You lose some weight, you gain some weight. This is called yo-yo dieting. Yo-yo dieting. And of course, because there's so many, Mark will talk about this word, so many fads, low carb, low fat, low calorie. When we talk about going on a diet, okay, you can say I'm dieting, but we often use this word, I'm going on a diet. So I'm going on a low carb diet. Carbs or carbohydrates are the energy that we need, right? So think potatoes, rice, pasta. These are high carb foods, bread for sure. And if you are on a low carb diet, then you're going to cut out or remove some of those items. Then we've got low fat and low calorie. So we're going to reduce to a low fat diet, a low calorie. So even though some people are still doing this, I don't think it's fun. I've yo-yo dieted before. It's not fun to lose the weight, gain the weight, lose the weight, gain the weight. I think more and more, so over time, a little bit more each year, I think more and more people are realizing that a lifestyle change is more important than just the number on the scale. So, what we kind of mean by that, a lifestyle change. Your lifestyle is the way you live your life, okay? You get up early, you didn't get enough sleep, you didn't eat a healthy breakfast, you went to work, you're very stressed all the time. This is what you do in your life. This is your lifestyle. And when you make a lifestyle change, maybe you want to sleep more or eat better, or you want to stop going out so much and spending so much money. This is a lifestyle change. It's not just today, it's not just tomorrow, it's a new part of your life, okay? A lifestyle change. And it's more important than just the number on the scale. The scale is what you use that you stand on top of, and it tells you your weight, how much you weigh. So 65 kilos or 200 pounds. This is your weight. All of your body has a number on the scale. So when we talk about your weight going up or down, lifestyle changes are more important than just the number on the scale. We want to be healthy. We want to feel good, have energy. We don't want to just focus on losing 5 pounds, losing 2 kilos, right?
I guess how people used to assume that if you weigh less, you are healthier because you're thinner, presumably. But now we're learning that that's not true.
Right. So, Mark, what kind of healthy eating trends are popular at the moment where you're from?
There are still lots of fads out there that come and go, but I think people are realizing there are no quick fixes or shortcuts, and just a few small tweaks here and there can add up in the long run and make a real difference. So, Kat mentioned the trends of yo-yo dieting, low carb, low fat, low calorie. Another word for those trends is fads.
Good word.
Fads. Fads, yeah. Fads are often, it's a fad when it's very temporary. It's a trend that doesn't last a long time. Maybe it's really, really popular for a couple of months, and then you never hear about it again. It could be a celebrity diet, a crash diet, where you radically change your diet. I think of things like Atkins. I remember that. Everybody
Yeah,
was
that was
doing it,
very
and
popular.
then something new comes along and replaces it. So these are fads. They don't stick around for very long. So there are still lots of fads. You can say fad diets. There are fad diets. It's a fad diet. And they come and go. But I think people are realizing there are no quick fixes or shortcuts. Quick fix is a couple of words we often say together, an easy solution or an easy answer, a quick fix. Your diet, your health takes a long time. It takes a long time to learn about your body, how you react to certain foods, what foods you respond well to. And there's no magic pill or magic solution that's easy. There is no quick fix or shortcuts. Again, shortcut is an easier or faster solution. People want to lose weight now, right now. I want to lose 5 kilos by next week because I'm going to the beach. There's no shortcuts. You have to gradually, slowly do it day by day, week by week. Another phrase I used was small tweaks. If you tweak something, you change it, but a small one. These are small changes. So maybe it's eating a few grams less in every meal. Maybe it's eating half a portion or 2/3 of a portion instead of the full thing, or swapping one ingredient for another. Small changes, small tweaks here and there can add up in the long run. These small changes that you have done in the long run over weeks and months or maybe years, in the long run, all of these little tweaks make a big difference. They all add up, and suddenly you're a much healthier version of yourself. You might not even notice in the mirror, or you might only notice when you see an old picture of yourself months later, that all these things add up in the long run and make a real difference. So kind of like what Kat said, there are these trends, these fads that come and go, but people are realizing it's the small things that you do consistently that make a big difference in the end.
I did want to just mention the word fad and the word fat, the difference between the two, because I said low fat, FAT, right? So fats would be in oils and meat and things like that. So that's the fat. And we've got carbs, fats, and proteins. And then we've got fads. Fads.
Mm,
So could you give us your pronunciation as well, Mark?
mm. Yeah, fat with a T and fad, a fad diet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's got to be fad with a D. I haven't heard the other combination. But yeah, a fad diet to
Yes,
lose fat.
maybe. Yeah, exactly. So a fad
Yeah.
diet, a low carb fad diet, a low fat fad diet. So
Oh, yeah,
it is,
that's a good one. A low
yeah, it
fat
is a little
fad
hard to
diet.
pronounce. Uh-huh.
So, back to you. What changes have you made to your diet recently?
Personally, I've been trying to stock the fridge with whole foods like fresh produce, fresh meats, and just less processed junk. So I kind of gave a little bit of the information at the beginning of my script, right? I said, well, the US is kind of trending towards this. They're sort of doing this. This is what's popular right now. And now I'm switching to me personally. So now I'm giving you my opinion and what I'm doing. So I start the sentence with personally, I've been trying to do this. Okay. So I've been trying to stock the fridge. Stock the fridge means to fill up the fridge. Okay. When you stock items at a store, you refill them. If there's a space or an empty area, you put more food in there. So I've been trying to stock the fridge with whole foods. Now, this is a pretty interesting term, whole foods. You think, okay, like a whole apple, not a half apple, a whole apple. But when we talk about whole foods, I guess what we mean is like single ingredients. So instead of buying chips with that have been fried and then put salt on it and other flavorings, you just have the potato. All right, you have the single ingredient, right? Now it is just a kind of a term that just means single ingredients. If you go to a market and you buy fruits and vegetables and rice and grains and some meat, these are all whole foods, single ingredients, single pieces of food, right? So I've been trying to stock the fridge with whole foods like fresh produce, fresh meats, and just less processed junk. Fresh produce, and you'll actually see this sign quite often in the supermarket, in an American supermarket. Those are fruits and vegetables. This is fresh produce. Fresh produce would be fruits and vegetables. And you can pick out your bananas, your lettuce leaves, your tomatoes in the fresh produce section. Now, of course, meat, fresh meat, just it's nice to have something freshly cut and just less processed junk. Now, you've probably heard the phrase junk food, and I don't think there's anything wrong with eating a little junk food, but we just want to eat less of it, okay? Less processed junk. Junk would be very sugary items, really salty items. You eat a whole bag of chips and you're full, but you get no nutritional value. You don't get any vitamins, you don't get any minerals, you just feel unhappy after eating a whole bag of chips, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with eating a few chips, but we're just going to stock the fridge with less processed junk. Processed is any item where you take the whole foods and you change it into something else. That's a simple definition for processed foods. Now, it kind of has a negative connotation when we talk about ultra processed or processed foods. You know, you look at the ingredients and you think, what's in here? Nothing really that good. Maybe the potatoes, you have about this much potatoes and this much salt. And you're thinking, maybe is this the healthiest thing I should be eating right now? It's just less processed junk. All right, Mark, so give us your opinion. What changes have you made to your diet?
For me, for example, I've been trying to add more whole foods into my diet, including fresh produce, organic meats, and cutting out all the processed artificial stuff. So for my one, I deliberately kept the same words as Kat because there's a good difference between the British pronunciation and the American one. The first difference is fresh produce. In a British accent, the PRO is a pro sound, produce, fresh produce. And the DUCE is more of a juice, like orange juice.
Oh,
So it's
Okay, I hear it.
produce,
Yeah,
right? How do you say it?
produce.
Mm,
Produce. So I keep the D and I say produce. Yeah, if I say
right.
it too many times, it sounds funny. But yes, fresh produce.
Yes, fresh produce. Um,
That's so
yeah, but
funny.
it's the same concept. It's fresh foods, freshly from a farm or something. Um, if you go to the supermarket in the UK, you will see a section, probably a whole section now, of organic
Mhm.
fruits and vegetables or organic products. Organic is supposed to be a healthier way to grow vegetables or raise animals for meat. The idea is that the animal eats more healthily, so the meat is higher quality and therefore healthier for us. Or there are less chemicals involved in the growing of vegetables, therefore it's healthier for us. Again, it's kind of a trend. Some people don't believe in it, some people swear by it, but it's a whole section in supermarkets now. Often on the packaging of food, if you see anything green, it probably has organic written on it, and it's usually a bit more expensive, but the idea is it's healthier. So I have been trying over the last few weeks to include more fresh produce, organic meats, and cutting out all the processed artificial stuff. So, yeah, Kat said processed. I'm saying it too with a British accent. Processed. Processed. So I've got produce and processed. And in
Oh,
American,
and we're the opposite. I see. I see. So I say produce and processed.
right.
Mm.
Yeah, we've
Look at
switched,
us.
right? So now I'm
Look at
saying
us.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
processed. I guess processed has just become the opposite word for natural or organic. Organic,
Yeah.
good. Processed, bad.
Yeah.
That's the general term. Anyway, so how about you? Is there a lot of variety in your diet?
Great question. So Mark is asking about my diet. Now, interesting. I'm not going on a diet. This is just the normal food that I'm eating. Okay. So my diet includes the normal things that I eat. So there is a difference between going on a diet, which usually means someone is trying to lose weight, or they could be gaining weight. Going on a diet is different from asking me about my diet in general, what I normally eat. Okay, so is there a lot of variety in your diet? That means this is the food that I'm eating day to day. And for me, it's so important to eat a variety of foods, especially colorful fruits and vegetables with lots of nutritional value. Now, remember, I said processed junk. Junk is usually very sweet, very salty, not a lot of nutritional value. Nutritional value is vitamins, minerals, good fats, protein, carbs that give you energy and make you feel good, right? So this is a with lots of nutritional value. So it's so important to eat a variety of foods. So don't just eat chicken and broccoli and rice every single day. Let's eat a little bit of chocolate. Oops, maybe I want some chocolate. Maybe I'm
Yeah,
craving chocolate.
it's a Freudian.
Have a little bit of chicken and broccoli and rice, and then have maybe some carrots and some beef and some soup instead. So, a variety of things, lots of different items, especially those colorful fruits and vegetables with lots of nutritional value. What about you, Mark? Is there a lot of variety in your diet?
Yes, there is. I try to get in a nice mix of fruit and veg, usually in smoothies, since they're packed with all sorts of nutrients and vitamins. So I'm going to highlight a phrasal verb first. I try to get in a nice mix of fruit and veg. Get in, it's basically eat and put it into my diet so I eat it. If you meet someone who works out a lot and wants to build muscle, they might be eating chicken breasts and drinking protein shakes because they want to get in their protein. I've got to get it in before I go to bed. I've got to get in 3,000 calories before I go to bed. So it's kind of like being on a slightly strict diet, or maybe forcing yourself or pushing yourself to
Yeah.
eat healthier things, even
Hmm.
if you don't really want to. But I try to get in and push myself to eat a nice mix of fruit and vegetables, but fruit and veg. That's another thing you might see in a supermarket. If you look at the healthy produce aisle, it might say fruit and veg, VEG, and you know that's vegetables. The easy way I can get in all of that is in a smoothie, so I can drink it, and that's nice and easy. Fruits and vegetables are so healthy because they are packed with. Maybe we did an IELTS vocabulary lesson on this about crowded places. The subway is packed with people, or the
Mm-hmm.
underground is packed. You could say the same thing about the ingredients or the nutrients in a vegetable. It's packed. This is a great thing. It's full of healthy parts, nutrients, and vitamins. You might see this in advertising or on food packets as well, packed with vitamin C or packed with antioxidants, all stuff. Also, British accent, American accent again, I say vitamins. Vitamins. How do they say it in the States?
Vitamins, vitamins. Vitamins is so cute. But we say
Vitamins.
vita. It almost sounds like a D as well, that T sound. Vitamins, vitamins.
Mm.
I did want to mention too that you say fruit and veg, and I more naturally
Mhm.
say fruits and vegetables, fruits and veggies. So it is just a little bit different, but I like the difference there.
Yes. Okay, so how do you stay on track? How do you keep up with this diet?
So, what's pretty common in the States is called meal prepping, and it's actually preparing your meals in advance, right? So, meal prepping, especially on a Sunday or before the week starts, meal prepping would be preparing some items and then maybe putting them in the fridge or putting them in the freezer so that they're easy to grab and cook really easily when you're short on time. So, if you're short on time, you hit the gym, you head home, you took a shower, it's 7 o'clock, we're starving, okay? We don't want to just order some food, but we're short on time. I don't have much time to make a nutritious meal, so I'm glad I can just grab something I prepped. All right, I prepped earlier in the week. And since I meal prepped, things are ready to go. So this ensures, this is another way to say make sure. This ensures we have nutritious meals, nutritional value, nutritious meals, and snacks ready if we're short on time. All right, Mark, I know we're all busy, so how do you stay on track? How do you keep up with all of these things, all this healthy eating?
Yes, similar to you, I've also started using Sundays to prepare some meals ahead of time, which stops me going off track and ordering in food on busy days. So, yes, much like Kat, I've started using Sundays. Sundays typically is a quiet day with not a lot of things to do, don't usually work, so I have time to cook. I cook a big batch. I cook loads of potatoes or lots of rice and lots of chicken and divide them up into small portions. Usually it's a Tupperware box or a plastic container. And like Kat said, you put it in the fridge or the freezer and then you can microwave it the next day. So I've started using Sundays to prepare some meals ahead of time. So in advance before I need them. And this is very helpful because it stops me going off track. If I'm on a diet and I go off track, then I'm not following my diet. I'm eating chocolate. I'm eating fast food. I'm eating things that are not healthy or not part of my normal diet. It's fine to go off track once or twice and then get back on track. But if it happens too much, then yes, it's hard to get back on track each time. Another way you could go off track is like Kat said, I'm busy, it's already 7 o'clock, and now I need to make a meal. Ugh. At that point, I would give in and order in food. So get on my phone and order pizza or order a takeaway or something to my house ordering in is another way of ordering delivered food to your house, or a takeaway, as we often say in the UK. So to stop me doing that, to stop me going off track and ordering in food, I'm using Sundays to prepare some meals ahead of time. That keeps me on track. So we've talked a lot about food. What about drinks? Are there any changes to the things you drink?
A few changes. Sometimes it's as simple as swapping out sugary snacks with fruit or using almond milk instead of cow's milk. So sometimes it's as simple as, it's as easy as, which means that, look, all I have to do is swap out sugary snacks with fruit. When we swap something out, we take the item and we remove it and put something else in its place. Okay, so if I'm gonna swap out sugary snacks with fruit, that means I'm removing the sugary snacks and I'm replacing it with some fruit. All right, so sometimes it's as simple as swapping out sugary snacks with fruit or using almond milk instead of cow's milk. So cow's milk can be very nutritious, good for you. But remember, we like to have a variety of things. Sometimes I'll have some almond milk. Sometimes I'll skip the milk in my coffee altogether. Or sometimes we can just use this instead of that. So I'm using almond milk and removing cow's milk. Okay, so sometimes it's as simple as swapping out sugary snacks with fruit. So I'm choosing fruit. Or using almond milk instead of cow's milk. I'm using almond milk and I'm removing the cow's milk. What about you, Mark? Any changes to the things that you drink?
I've also switched over to oat milk instead of cow milk in my tea, and I've cut out fizzy drinks altogether. So, like Kat mentioned, sometimes there are two options, and one of those options is much healthier. Maybe it's lower in fat or lower in calorie. So if you choose that alternative, I switch over to it. In this case, I've got two options, cow milk and oat milk, and I have switched over to oat milk. So I'm using oat milk and not tea, and not cow milk. I'm using oat milk instead of cow milk. So you might switch over from sugar to stevia or something that's a little bit healthier. If you choose to find a healthier alternative, you'll switch over to it. And I've cut out fizzy drinks altogether. If I cut it out, I stop it completely. I stop drinking it. You'll often hear this with things like alcohol and cigarettes as well. This year, I'm cutting out cigarettes, or I'm cutting out alcohol this year. It means I'm not drinking it ever. No treats, no slips. It's not a part of my diet. In the UK, we say fizzy drinks. If you order a fizzy drink, I think Coke, Pepsi, lemonade, Sprite, Fanta, all the big brands. We call them fizzy drinks. It might also be on a menu. If you order something in McDonald's or something, a fizzy drink, you can ask, does that come with a fizzy drink? And that's what we mean, these carbonated, sugary drinks. Is that what you call them in the US, or is there a different name?
We have so many words for them. It depends on where you're from in the United States. On a menu, it'll usually say soft drinks. That means no alcohol, soft drinks. Okay. So I think that comes because hard drinks are alcoholic and soft drinks are non-alcoholic. So you'll see anything under that. In Texas, we sometimes just call all soda Coke. I know. Even if it's a Sprite, even if it's a Pepsi, we sometimes call them all Coke. We call them sodas, Coke, pop up in the north, or soft drinks. Carbonated beverages would be the most formal. And so, yeah, we've got lots of words for that.
Well, so has all this dieting been a big change to your lifestyle?
It sounds like it, but don't worry, we're not trying to overhaul our entire life in a weekend. Don't worry, we're not trying to overhaul our entire life. Okay. So to overhaul something is to completely change it. We're having a big overhaul at work. Everything's getting changed, right? No, no, no. We're not trying to overhaul our entire life in a weekend. You know, it's the little steps that count, right? We don't want to change everything because then I don't think we'd stick to it. I don't think we would continue on this lifestyle change if everything changes overnight, if everything changes in a weekend. But what about for you, Mark? Has it been a big change to your lifestyle?
I said, I know it sounds like a lot, but it's just been small changes over a long time. So if you remember way back, I said small tweaks. Small tweaks are small changes. And I know it sounds like a lot, a lot of changes, a lot of differences, a lot of strict planning and preparing, and a lot of decisions. But actually, I didn't do this all in one day because, like Kat said, it's not sustainable. Just small changes over a long time. Maybe every week, introduce one new thing. And then next week, introduce another small tweak. And after a couple of months, it does make a big difference. So it sounds like a lot, but it's just been small changes over a long time. So we also heard what you're eating more of in your diet. Is there anything you're eating less of?
Now, Mark mentioned cutting something out. Okay. I'm literally thinking cutting a piece of paper and removing it, cutting it out. But we also have this other phrase. My husband is also cutting down on sugar by swapping soda for water or opting for sugar-free alternatives. Okay, so we've got some good vocabulary here. Cutting down. Cutting down. Now, Mark cut them out completely. Zero. Nothing. But if we, have 5 sugary drinks, well, let's cut down to just maybe 2 or 3. So just less. All right. So my husband is also cutting down on sugar by swapping soda for water. Okay. We heard this before. We're swapping soda for water. That means we remove the soda and drink the water, right? We're swapping soda for water or opting for sugar-free alternatives. Opting sounds like option. Opting means choosing. Opting for, that means we're going to choose this. Opting for sugar-free alternatives. Now, it's not that the sugar doesn't cost any money. Sugar-free means 0 sugar. Fat-free means 0 fat. Salt-free means 0 salt. Okay, so salt-free, fat-free, sugar-free, those are pretty common ones. Sugar-free alternatives. If something is an alternative, it is a different choice, a similar choice. Okay, it is similar, but it is an alternative. So you have your soda, and I want to cut down on sugar, so I'm choosing a sugar-free soda. Similar, not exactly the same, but it is a good alternative. It is a good similar option. Now, Mark, I know all this talk about food. Do you ever cheat on your diet?
I still like to treat myself every now and again to some nice fish and chips or something like that. Only now I don't feel as guilty. So, yes, we're talking about staying on a diet. If you cheat on your diet, then you don't follow it. You don't eat healthy food. You have something greasy and delicious and full of fat and full of calories. You cheat on it like you're disloyal to your diet. The phrase I used was, I like to treat myself. You have to say myself afterwards. It's like I hurt myself or I cut myself. I treat myself. And that means I do something nice for me. I know it's not part of the diet. I know maybe it's more expensive and I'm trying to save money, but I see something really nice in a shop, like a really cool shirt, and I know it's expensive, but go on, I'll treat myself. I'll do something a little bit naughty. Go on then. Yeah, and I'll treat myself now and again. So I'm trying to be healthy, but I still enjoy foods that are not healthy or a bit oily or fatty because they're delicious. Like fish and chips is amazing. I'm not going to cut out fish and chips. That's crazy. That would be a horrible, miserable life for me. So I'm just going to eat it less often and I'm going to treat myself. And now I don't feel as guilty. The sentence is not a full sentence, but I'm implying that I don't feel as guilty as I would if I wasn't following my diet, right? So because I'm on a diet, I don't feel guilty. I've eaten lots of healthy food already, so this fish and chips isn't going to completely ruin all my hard work. So I don't feel guilty for enjoying like guilty pleasures, sweet treats, or fast food because I just want to treat myself. I deserve it. Okay. And how about yourself? Do you ever cheat on your diet?
Overall, it's going well, but sometimes I still crave a nice, greasy slice of pizza. Now, I don't really think there's anything wrong with having a little bit of something, especially if you can control yourself and you can just have a nice, greasy slice of pizza. It feels so good just to eat it. But you know, like Mark said, you know that it's not going to ruin your whole day, right? You're not going to feel too bad about it. So overall, that means don't look at this slice of pizza. Don't look at that. I mean, overall, in general, it's going well. But sometimes I still crave something. When you crave something, you can't stop thinking about it. You really just want that thing, right? So, oh, I'm really craving some chocolate. I said chocolate earlier in the episode, and I guess I really do want a piece of chocolate. I'm craving something sweet. I'm craving something salty or greasy. And usually we crave things that aren't that healthy for us because they just sound really good. Oh, I'm really craving a pizza. Maybe we should go out for pizza tonight. So, there you have it, everyone. Some really useful and authentic vocabulary to help you talk about healthy eating. See if you can use some of the new vocabulary phrases that you learned in this video and practice with us. What was your favorite phrase from this episode? Were there any words or phrases that were new for you? Let us know in the comments below. We read and reply to every single one.
Yes, we always do. We love hearing from you, and we definitely want to know what you think about this topic, especially if you're trying to eat healthier yourself. Don't forget, you can also get the PDF transcript of this episode if you become a High Level Listening member. There's a link to that in the description below. I think that will be a good transcript for this episode because there were lots of phrases that we used to explain it that are not in the notes. So yeah, there's so much stuff packed into this transcript. This one is really worth getting. You can download it, take it offline, and study it on your own. Again, the link for that is down below.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you again very soon for our next video. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.